Good morning, beautiful, amazing people. And welcome to today's Motivational Monday Healing with me, Paula, grief guru, international award-winning author, spiritual coach, and angel voice healer, among many other things. I believe life is to be lived, never merely exist. And with that in mind, I want today to talk about sleep and how sleep can be scary, how we are sometimes having to deal with the nightmare demons that come after grief or a trauma, and how that affects us. Now, in the UK right now, we are having a really hot summer, which is beautiful. It's great. It's what we should have every year, but it takes us all by surprise when it gets really hot. And the nights obviously are very sticky. Even the windows wide open, it's difficult to get to sleep, and it's difficult to stay asleep. But when you're grieving and you're struggling with sleep, it's the time of day that is really difficult for a lot of people, because you are trying to rest, and inevitably your mind starts to send you all the thoughts that you don't want, all the feelings that you don't want, and they go round and round and round in your head. Now, if you're lucky enough to get to sleep, those subconscious thoughts and feelings may manifest into nightmares. Our dreams are an extension of us. They are what is happening within us, and it's our mind trying to make sense of it, trying to give you some kind of avenue to make sense of it. And it's the same with nightmares. It's the same with those terrible bad dreams that wake us in an instant, hot, sweating, breathless, terrified. And they're not pleasant. Of course they're not. But once you accept that there is something within you that needs to come out, that needs to be spoken, that needs to be worked through, you can start to try and make sense of those night terrors. You can try to start to make sense of those bad dreams. So what I always advise, if my clients are struggling with sleep, or they're having nightmares, or what we call night demons, especially after grief, is to have a notepad next to the book. Have a notepad next to your bed. Okay? And you're awake anyway. So write down what is going on in your head right there at that moment. Write it down. Get it out of your head. Now people will say to me things like, yes, but I don't want to put the light on because then it'll just wake me up. No, it won't. You're awake anyway. You talk yourself into not doing something from fear mind. Self-preservation, you're in your head, and you're in your head already. It's what's keeping you awake. It's what's making the dreams and the nightmares come into your head and to wake you up and to stop you from sleeping. Or you get to that point where you're so terrified of what you're going to dream about or what's going to happen to you while you're asleep that you don't sleep. And you may fall into a fitful, exhausted sleep sometime near dawn, if at all. I've worked with people who are struggling to survive on 1-2 hours of not restful sleep, but groggy, exhausted, terrifying sleep. For many reasons. It could be anything from they've never slept on their own before because their spouse of 40 plus years has died. It could be that they are suddenly terrified of the dark, and they have the lights on and the curtains open, and it could be anything. Perhaps they are just terrified of going to sleep, of what will happen, what dream they will have. what nightmare they will have. So write it all down. Get it out of your head. And then when you can see it on paper, you then have a chance to look at it logically. So if it is fear of the dark, okay, what is it that I expect to find happening in the dark? I have locked all the doors, I've locked all the windows, I feel safe. Perhaps you have an animal there, move the animal into the bedroom with you. Do whatever it is that makes you feel safe enough to fall asleep. Keep a light on somewhere if you need to, but not necessarily the bedside light. Put things into place, but once you have it written down, you can see it. And it's no longer in your head. You can start to make sense of it. So if it is nightmares that are waking you up, as soon as you can and you feel able, try and write down everything that you can remember. How is it making you feel? Because once you start to see it, it will make perfect sense eventually. Okay. And I will be doing a live this week on Friday, the 16th of August. I will be doing a live session on sleep and on nightmare demons. So if you'd like to join me, let me know and I'll give you access. You don't have to suffer in silence unless you choose to. With so much love, take care.